This is Clare, an 8-year-old retired greyhound. And this is parkrun. Catton parkrun to be precise. If you don't know what parkrun is, it's a free weekly 5k every Saturday over 2,000 locations across the world. Yada yada yada, all the boring stuff. Now, for what you're really here for, Clare. As said, she's a retired greyhound. Greyhounds are widely accepted as being the fastest dog breed in the world, capable of reaching speeds of up to 45 miles per hour. Not only are they one of the fastest, but they're also one of the oldest and most recorded dog breeds. Very quick history lesson. Dogs very similar to greyhounds can be seen in temple drawings from around 6000 BC. Then there's the Egyptians. There's art found in tombs showing them. We even know that Tutankhamun and Cleopatra VII both had greyhound. They're the only dog breed mentioned by name in the Bible. Then speaking of books, they're also the first dog mentioned in Western literature, Homer's The Odyssey, where Homer's dog Argos, recognised him upon his return, is generally thought to be a greyhound. So
then
as
we
you
have
can
St.
tell,
Guinevere,
they've always been
the only
popular.
dog to have
Now
become
back
a
to
saint.
Clare. Some of you are likely wondering, a retired dog, how's that work? So, greyhounds, as their speed would suggest, are often used for racing, and people just gamble on the winner. Think Santa's little helper in The Simpsons. Unfortunately, greyhound racing isn't a very nice sport most of the time, but that is a very different rabbit hole to fall down. Now, Clare used to race, and she wasn't any slouch. Now, I luckily managed to get hold of some of her old racing footage and results. She's number 3 in this one, in the white vest.
Off in racing, 1 missed it, 4 got crowded at the boxes, but 3 is on the money early, leads up from 5, gap back to 6, then we got 2, 1 and 4. 1 and 4 crowded, 3's a bit wide off the second bend, but now kicks off the second bend and goes on, and 2 and 5 have got crowded again, messy race, trap 3's got away here, do it Clare, a winner in the handicap last time, surely she's got this wrapped up already, go 10 lengths clear from 5, a half length to 6, and the rest are tailed off. And he said, do it for Clare then, relentless, at 10 lengths clear from 5 and 6, having a good scrap for silver, but bus ride victory for trap 3. 3 your winner, 6 is second.
So she just ran a distance of 480 metres in 29.71 seconds. So she was travelling at roughly 58.18 kilometres per hour, which is 36.15 miles per hour. At that speed she could finish a marathon in around 43 minutes and 31 seconds. That's assuming she doesn't stop for the toilet or a treat. Now, as you may be able to guess, they're built for that short distance speed, not a marathon. They're generally just renowned for sleeping most of the day in some absolutely astonishing positions, but it's sleep that's really well deserved. Play hard, rest harder. And whilst it is true that some just like that short distance, some do enjoy going a little further. Claire's always liked a long walk, and she's gone on occasional runs and enjoyed those. Quite a lot slower than she's used to going, but she's liked it. She gets to explore other places. So why not try parkrun and see how she stacks up against the other humans? Now, some parkrun events welcome dogs, others don't. Luckily, the local Catton park does. So it's important to say as well here, parkrun changed the rules around running with dogs in April 2022, where you can no longer use a waist harness lead, but you have to use a handheld lead. It's not ideal for when you're holding on to something that can suddenly go 36 miles per hour, but there we go. Needs must. So after getting Sleeping Beauty ready and trotting on down to the park, we're off. It's parkrun time. And that's the time when you can really tell those old instincts come back into her. The racing. She's surrounded by people, other people moving quickly. She wants to go. There's dogs, animals, whatever. She wants to race them. And she wants to win. Now for those that haven't been to Catton, here's a quick little map showing you roughly where you're going. It's a bit like an infinity symbol. Now running with a dog like Claire, with her being quite big, quite fast and leaping, she still isn't noticed at times. She doesn't understand that what's going on here. She just wants to run, she wants to move, she wants to be a dog, so she might want to sniff, she might want to go to the toilet, etc. So at the end of the day, there are potential issues, and ultimately with doing all this, I want her to enjoy it, so, and definitely not get hurt. So at the end of the day, we just got to be a bit careful. Now with Catton, it's quite a busy start, but luckily not long after that it's a really wide straight, just grassy area, so she can really just let herself go, and she's absolutely bounding off at this point, and I'm just having to hold on for the ride. You can see that pace absolutely dropping when she decides to go for it. Running with a dog wherever you are, park run or just out casually on the road or paths, it needs to be fun for them. They're a dog. They like to sniff. Claire likes to sniff. You'll see several times throughout this, she goes off to have a sniff. She needs to go to the toilet. Whatever, we can't blame her, we can't blame them. Who knows what was there? It's just something to bear in mind if you're going with your own, that they might want to stop and sniff suddenly, and they're definitely going to want to go to the toilet at some point. So we're back at a trot before getting into another little gallop. It's all early stages, but you have to bear in mind she'd normally have finished all of her other races by this point, so for a retired greyhound running over that distance, it is actually getting into a long distance run, and distances will be different for every dog, so try and ease them into it. Some might take to it quite naturally, some might need a little more weaning into it, but see how it goes for yourself and your dog. Quick little interlude just to say that if you're enjoying the video at this point, remember to like and subscribe, it really helps, and let me know what kind of videos people like. Thanks! Now, no different to when you're running with other people, sometimes you just need to give them a little push. A good sort of example being here, where it's just a nice long straight, and I know that she's happy to go for it, and we can get past a lot of those people that have overtaken us while she's been stopping for a sniff or going to the toilet. So giving her a little egging on, and you can see that she just absolutely starts going again. Now you'll see it as we sort of go throughout, but Catton is a little undulating, so it's just something to be prepared for. Some minor, some a little more major. There's a pretty major downhill section here that, well, Claire just loves, and I'm pretty sure we all would. So she just decides to let it fly. Now thankfully on this day, at the bottom of this hill, it can suddenly turn into a swamp if it's been really wet. But thankfully, because it was nice and frosty, that wasn't a problem. It's just nice and firm, but equally soft underfoot, so perfect conditions for running with Claire. Something to really bear in mind for greyhounds is that they are quite a weather dependent breed. They have stupidly thin fur and skin, bald stomach. They can get cold really easily. Equally, they can overheat extremely easily. They can only pant so much for that sort of running speed that they're putting out and that energy that they're exerting, compared to us as a human, where we can sweat out of our entire skin and help cool ourselves down. They're just purely relying on their panting. So you just have to bear that in mind again if you're going out with your dog, that temperature can play a big part in your run. Now we head into this little wooded section. It's really narrow here, so overtaking can be difficult, especially with stones, roots, leaves and the like all strewn about. With Claire and possibly other dogs, gotta keep an eye out as well. If she sees a squirrel, yeah, she's off and I'm a dead man. But luckily no squirrel today. So after the wooded section you come out and pass the finish. Whoopee! Except you don't actually get to finish yet. You're just heading straight past now. Claire normally gets a treat and having a snack around here if we're on a walk, so she does get a little distracted, but not too bad. And instead we keep on going and turn left, and then we're heading up the middle path. But it's also important to say here that this is where, this being a regular walking spot for Claire, lets her down. She just doesn't like this middle path. Whenever we walk over here, she doesn't want to go near it. And so when we're running up here, she doesn't want to run up it. She wants to go somewhere else. It's completely understandable. It's a solid ground. There's probably not many smells. There's nothing too interesting about it compared to the rest of the park. So she doesn't want to do that. But she equally doesn't want to stop. She's slowing down because she wants to go in a different direction. But I've ran with her enough and I've brought her here quite a lot that I know she doesn't want to stop and do nothing. She just doesn't want to be here. Now, ultimately, no different to running with someone else, is give them some encouragement, try and get them past that point, and all of a sudden, much like once we get to the top of the hill here, and she's out of that little funk, and she's back on the rest of the course, she's starting to love it again. So you can know what's best for your dog on these kinds of things and run it with them, and make sure again that they do enjoy it. Right, and going back down on this trail, so basically going back where you started from almost, and then once you go up there the second time, you're turning left to do that loop. So it ends up looking like kind of an infinity symbol. Now, like I mentioned, and unfortunately for Claire, we got to go up that middle twice. So she does put her parts on again. But sometimes shouting just isn't enough, and just like a great athlete, they need to fuel on the run, so a little snacky snack. And we're back in those woods, still a few people about and having to be a bit careful, but again, she's still just trotting along quite happily. Once you're out of the woods on that second and final lap, you've got a very little short sprint to the finish. So knowing this, I start hyping her up. You can see that she suddenly starts bouncing. She wants it. She wants to go. She's getting excited off of me getting excited for her, and so she's just off. She's galloping. She's leaping. She's going. through a little wavy finish tunnel, just trotting along with her, giving her some pats on the head because she's been an absolutely gorgeous and good girl as always. With Catton, you don't get to take him into this little park bit at the back here, so you sort of go off to the side and someone will scan you instead. So here we are, just getting ready to head back, and here's the moment of truth. What's our finishing time? 28 minutes 36 seconds. Fastest dog breed in the world? Just under 30 minutes? What's so special about that? And the thing is, well, just going back to what we were talking about earlier. Bear in mind the distances she's used to throughout her life and how much she's been running. Don't get wrong, she still enjoys it, but no different to everyone. It's a bit of the journey. She started off doing ridiculously short distances, and now she's built it all the way up to here. So there's no real surprise there, no different to everyone else. Starting a bit of a shorter distance run and eventually building up to a marathon or ultras and all those distances in between. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm proud of her, and you should be proud of yourself too. Anyone that runs should be. And hopefully this also just showed you how amazing greyhounds are and gave you a little bit of a look into their own little history. So give them a look if you want to adopt a couch potato that can equally run at 40 miles per hour. There's plenty of charities all across the UK that really can help use some support and have plenty of them to adopt. And that is a really overused pun when it comes to them, but it really Hope you enjoyed, and thank you once again. Like and subscribe if you did, that way I know to put more of these kinds of videos out. Remember to check your local shelters if there is a dog that you're interested in adopting. There's usually plenty of greyhounds. They can always use a loving home, they're absolutely amazing animals. So that's me done for now, Aston out, and I'll just leave you a few more little outtakes, including one where things did particularly go wrong, but no one got hurt, apart from my pride. Once again, thank you. See you all later. Aston out.